League. Barça and Real Madrid having played last week, now they get the second leg going, and we welcome you to Barça Live, where we'll give you the pre-match analysis, live commentary during the game, and our post-game wrap-up. Stay tuned, because tonight's a big night in Barça lore, and it starts right now. Well, what a special night it's going to be. Barça, Real Madrid in the quarterfinal of the Champions League. It is the second time that that Barça have taken the pitch at the Camp Nou, the first time with fans. We welcome you to Barça Live, and I have my guests alongside me tonight. First, we have Emma Byrne. Emma, this is going to be a big one.
Massive. It's an absolutely massive game, and I don't mean in respect of Barca playing Real Madrid and it being the quarterfinals. I mean as in it is an absolute landmark for women's football, playing in a stadium, Camp Nou stadium, that's completely packed, the whole world watching, and it's just wonderful to be a part of it.
And in studio with us as well, Jamie Coles. What do you think, Jamie?
Well, it's always good to be a part of history, isn't it? Here on Barça TV Plus, and to watch history unfold in front of us at the Camp Nou. What an achievement for this team to have been elevated to this level, and taking part in something like this, and to be recognised within the sport as well. We'll go over to the Camp Nou then, where we've got Mai Rostro, who it's very exciting over at the Camp Nou, and she'll give us a bit of a taste of what the atmosphere is like.
Hello, Jamie. We're so lucky to be here at Camp Nou because today we have a date with history. So, guys, let's go straight to what we want to know, which is the lineup for this Clásico, for this Football Club Barcelona against Real Madrid. Jonathan Giraldo's team will start this game with Sandra Paños in goals, back four with Marta Torrejón, Irene Paredes, Mapi León, and Fridolina Rolfo. In midfield, our number 12, Patrick Guijarro, with Aitana Bonmatí, and our captain en Balón d'Or, Alexia Putellas, and up from Caroline Graham-Hansen, Jenny Hermoso, and Claudia Pina. For the opponents, for Real Madrid, they will start with Misa in goal, back four with Lucia Rodriguez, Faber Peter, Ivan Andres, and Svava. Then Teresa Alvelleira next to Sornosa. Line of three for Atenea del Castillo, Maite Oroz, and Olga Carmona. And then up front alone, their number 10, Esther Gonzalez. This means that the team that wins tonight will play it against Wolfsburg or Arsenal for that semi-final of the Uefa Champions League. So back to you, Jamie.
Thanks very much, Mai. Well, the team that wins tonight will likely pass through, but for Barca, a draw would also suffice, and they could even afford a slight loss, although I'm sure they wouldn't be happy with that, Emma.
Absolutely not. And, I'm feeling a little bit sympathetic for Real Madrid because they put on a really good show last week, and I thought they played really, really well. And now they're coming to the fortress of Barça Femení, and Barça are going to want to put on a show for the crowd, for the people there, for this momentous occasion. And I feel like Real Madrid might get punished for that.
Jamie, based on what we saw Mai send out there in terms of the lineups, what do you see in Barca's starting 11 today?
Well, I think almost an ideal 11 for Barca, right? They're all guns are blazing. They want to put this to bed and make sure they're through to the semi-finals without doubt, I think.
Given the players that they have available, right? But on the other side, Emma, it's a very similar lineup to what we saw for Real Madrid. They're still missing a few players. They've got a couple of players on the bench as well who can make an impact. What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, I think they did really well, as I said last week. I think they worked very, very hard. I think it's the best we're going to see of Real Madrid. It's certainly the best I've seen of them this season. We've seen Ivana Andres coming in instead of Rocío, who played really well last week. I thought Rocío did a really good job. And when Ivana came in the second half, I think their performance dipped a little bit, so that's an interesting choice because Rocío is on the bench. I just think it's going to be a bit of a mountain to climb for them, and they're going to have to work twice as hard.
Well, this isn't the first time that Barça have played at the Camp Nou, but the last time there weren't as many fans in the building. We're going to take a look at that 5-0 victory over Espanyol a year ago. This was January of 2021. Of course, nobody in the building for this game, but 5 different goal scorers. Of course, you knew that the first goal scorer would be Alexia. It was Alexia, Marta, Melanie, Lika, and Crnogorcevic who all scored.
Yeah, I mean, I actually worked this game. This could have been one of my first games with Barça as well. And it was just a fantastic occasion for them to play in Camp Nou, and it marked, I believe it was the 100th year of anniversary when Barça Femení played there before. And they just showed, you know, even just playing in a stadium without the people there, how dominant they are, and fantastic goals, as you can see. Lovely, lovely strike from Mel Serrano. But yeah, I think it's going to be, it's going to be completely different this time. It's a big difference when the crowd is there and the stadium is packed. Alexia said it in her interview that the fans bring a lot more to the team, a lot more energy. And of course, the players are going to want to, keep the fans happy and show their appreciation for their support.
Well, this was a different atmosphere last time around, and now the fans are lining up in bunches, and we're expecting a big night with a big crowd, Jamie.
Yeah, absolutely. Potential 90+ thousand fans. Lots of, tickets were sold out in record time, if you remember. And I don't know about you guys, on my way into Barça Studios today, there was a lot of traffic, so I think there's going to be certainly a good atmosphere over at the Camp Nou. Let's head down there now, again to My Rostro, and just check out how the vibe is with the fans.
Yes, Jamie, we're here out of Camp Nou with more fans because they're here, obviously to watch this game. What's your name?
Chloe.
Simone.
Where are you guys from?
The Netherlands.
Yes, I'm also from the Netherlands.
Is this your first time at Camp Nou?
Yeah, for me it's
For me not. I was also here a couple of weeks ago, but it was a match from the men.
Well, girls, what do you think about not just the atmosphere? Is really one of the world records, because today we can have a really great atmosphere, 90,000 people around if they're all confirmed. What do you think about this?
It's amazing. Yeah, I'm very curious about what's going on tonight.
I was very happy that we bought a ticket because I saw it and I also got an email about it that we were gonna get a record, so I was very happy to get a ticket.
What do you expect for tonight's game? Because the girls won the first leg, this is the second leg. What do you expect for tonight? Another big win?
I don't know. I think that Barcelona will win, of course.
I'm almost sure they win because in Madrid they won with 3-1, and today is a game at home, so I'm almost sure they're gonna win.
Well, we have Lika Martins from Netherlands also, so yeah.
Oh, we know, she's the best.
Support the Dutchie.
Well, Jamie, as you can see, they're all excited because today we can break a good record, so back to you.
Well, what a fantastic atmosphere over at the Camp Nou. It's nice to see the Dutch connection alive and well. We'll let you go and enjoy the match. Spencer, what atmosphere?
Yeah, I can't wait for this. And look, we're not going to talk about the record too much until that attendance gets announced because we just don't know. The 90,000 seats have been sold. We'll get into it a little bit later. But going back to the first leg, this was a game that, Emma, Barça didn't really find a way into the game until after halftime. What changed between the first half and the second half to get the ultimate 3-1 result?
Well, apart from it being extremely difficult to maintain that level of energy from Real Madrid, they worked extremely hard. They were always going to dip. But one of the main reasons for that is the introduction of Claudia Pina. She really did make a difference when she came on. She's so clever at finding space, and space is really difficult to mark. And of course, the penalty decision was a massive, massive blow for Real Madrid. And when you're a team like Real Madrid that have to work extremely hard, you're depending on each other's energy, that decision will completely deflate you. And I think that was a massive decision in the game.
So that made it 1-1 after the penalty. And then this right here was with about 10 minutes to go. And you mentioned, Emma, Claudia Pina, right place, right time, she sends it home. And then Jamie, what can you make of Alexia at the end here?
Well, what can you make of Alexia at any moment, really? She's just got that natural ability in front of goal, natural ability of finding the right place to be, setting up plays and taking the advantage of opportunities.
There was a wonderful image. And I know a lot of the players, they don't like the comparisons because it's natural. But not talking about the game, just the chip between Alexia and Aubameyang over a Real Madrid goalkeeper. There was a simultaneous image of the two of them popping the ball over Courtois and Misa Rodriguez. And we're starting to see images now of the stadium with the mosaic, and what a beautiful image it is.
Absolutely wonderful. And we spoke about, will it actually fill up because they can sell tickets, but it doesn't mean everyone's going to show up. And it really looks like the Barca fans have shown up today, and this just looks absolutely wonderful. And you can be sure that the atmosphere down there is absolutely incredible. Just goose pimples even looking at it.
I was a little bit worried when I woke up this morning, and the sky, untypical for Barcelona, it was a bit grey and a bit wet, and I thought, oh no, this doesn't bode well for tonight's match. But we know these fans, they'll turn up through thick and thin.
The mosaic, by the way, saying more than empowerment, which is a big message on a big day. All right, really quickly, ladies and gentlemen, guess the score time. Jamie.
I think Barca want to put this to bed. 3-0.
3-0. Emma?
I'm going to say 4-1.
Oh, all right. If we had a guess the score app today, like we do on most Barca Live days, I think those would be the two most popular results. I'm going to go for 5-1. Also, a shout out for our producer Ramon, who does the same thing. So he says 5-1 also. So I'm going to stick with him. Well, we welcome you to this edition of the Champions League. It is Barça Real Madrid. It's the Champions League quarterfinals, second leg at the Camp Nou between Barça and Real Madrid, with Barça taking a 3-1 lead from the first leg into a sold-out stadium. Spencer Siegel with you. I've got Emma Byrne with me and Jamie Coles alongside as well. All right, here we are. We've talked a lot about how we've gotten to this point and the history behind it. Now it's time to get into the game. We know Barca's 11. Emma, I'll start with you. How do you expect Barca to come out in the first 10, 15 minutes? Do you expect any jitters, or do you expect them to take this energy, hone it, and release it?
I think they're going to come out in full attack. I think it's a really good squad. I'm delighted to see Claudia Pina in there getting her chance, and you know, she deserves it after her performance last week. I don't think Rolfo is going to play left back. I think she's going to play nearly as a forward. She's going to be further up the pitch, and Claudia Pina will start to drift in, leaving that space for Rodolfo. And I think it's going to be you're going to see attacking football from Barca from minute one.
Yeah, the official lineup that came out has Barca in a 4-3-3 with Rolfo playing that left back position, but we've seen enough games this year to know that that's typically not where she likes to sit. There aren't as many defenders for Barca on a normal night, on a good night, but in the first half, Jamie, of the game last week, Madrid took the game by the reins. They really made the game theirs, and you could say that they were the better team for the better part of 45 minutes. They had the 1-0 lead. How do they recover some of that energy from a week ago?
Well, I think they took Barca by surprise. I didn't think Barca really expected it, especially after having won, rounded out the league with the 5-0 victory over Real Madrid. I think that maybe they came into the match a little bit complacent, and Real Madrid were quick off the mark and certainly determined to get things moving forward early on. Barca, well, we know they can play, and we know that when needed, they can put in the work, especially those two, Jenny Hermoso and Alexia Putellas. And wow, they're just, that second half, they opened up the play and created some great opportunities.
Well, Barça are wearing their third kits tonight. They're not going with the traditional first kits.
Well, European kit. It's the kit they wear for the European campaign, right? So.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's that. We can take that because the Barça, many of the Barça teams have worn that kit on a couple of different occasions.
Yeah, I mean, we normally see it in the Champions League, but it just going back on what Jamie just said about last week, we also thought the ref was very, very lenient, didn't we? And Real Madrid were very, very tough. They were going into tackles very, very strongly. And that's what kind of shook Barça a little bit, that physical element from Real Madrid. And the ref didn't give a yellow card until well into the game. I think the first yellow was in the second half. So let's see. We have a different ref, Jamie.
Yeah,
you know about this ref.
Stephanie Frappart. I was brushing up on it before the match.
We have kicked off, just so we know. We've gotten this game underway. It's Barça Madrid ready to go. Let's hear about Stephanie Frappart.
Well, I don't want to call her card happy, but she is certainly a little less lenient, perhaps a little stronger on the discipline, and not unwilling to use the cards when need be. It stood out for me. She was one of the first. Well, she was the first women referee to referee a men's Champions League match. The first female referee to referee a men's Champions League match in December 2020. Standing out for me, 4 Europa League matches she officiated, 20 yellow cards in 4 matches. So it perhaps doesn't bode too well for Real Madrid.
No.
Well, Barça have a corner. They've already worked their way down to the far side. And with Barça attacking left to right, the corner comes in, it's flicked on, it comes all the way through, it comes out, Mapi León will have a strike. It was blocked down. I believe that was Peter who got in the way. And trying to get out of harm's way, Mapi, who gives the thumbs up to her teammates. Couldn't get it through that brick wall.
It's actually a really well-worked corner, and that ball was always intended for Mapi. She was on her own outside the box, flicked on by Claudia Pina. Lovely little set back to Mapi, and she can strike from those distances. We've seen her strike and really lovely goals from even further back than the 18-yard line.
Remember, it's a 3-1 Barça advantage heading into tonight. So Barça have that 2-goal cushion to work with. The away goals rule, of course, abolished. We're getting a shot of Asisat Oshawala, one of the many players who no doubt wishes they could partake in this event. And you can only hope that with her recovery and perhaps another game on the horizon, that there's a small chance that we may see her or Lika Martins moving forward. If Barça win this game or they advance beyond this stage, they would play the home leg of the Champions League semi-final at the Camp Nou as well.
Yeah, I mean, these are the games as a player that you want to be involved in, and you want to play in the big stadium, especially Camp Nou. It just holds a different kind of special prestige. So yeah, the likes of Lieke Martins, Mariona, Asisat will be, desperate to get back on the pitch. And the fact that they have one foot in the semi-finals, I don't want to curse them yet, but they will want to play in the semi-finals at Camp Nou again. So that will be a major target for all of them.
Well, Madrid just had a spell of about a minute or so of chopped possession, but they couldn't make any headway. Once again, it's back with the Blaugrana on the near side. Again, attacking left to right to start. Here's Claudia Pina, who sends it out wide. This is Caroline Graham-Hansen. It's great to have her back as a mainstay in the lineup once again, now healthy. Marta Torrejon. Worked around by Irene Paredes. Marta, Graham-Hansen will try to get across into the box. Low ball in, popped up and out of harm's way, but only as far as Marta. Patri for Mapi León. Jenny Hermoso looking to the middle, finding Pina. Not as much space to work in the middle. Madrid closing down that space really well. Irene sending it wide. This is how they do it. Marta sends it forward now towards the byline. Aitana with the cross in. It's flicked forward. It's actually cleared away.
It's actually a really well worked passage of play. Much better than last week. They're moving the ball really, really quickly, which is what we said we wanted from them last week. Like, we're the managers. We want them to pass the ball quicker. They're moving it. Real Madrid are doing what they did last week. They're getting behind the ball. Obviously, they're going to try that counter-attack style football, which is they're quite good at it. But they're behind the ball. They're blocking, basically creating blocks. And what Barca didn't do last week is move the ball quickly and try to switch play quickly. And they're doing it really well tonight.
Yeah, I think that was Real Madrid came out last time pressing quite high, and certainly the quick passing and the triangular movements from Barca going to tire out Real Madrid, or at least overstretch them a little bit.
Well, both teams played at the weekend. Barca got to stay in Madrid, essentially, as they took on Madrid Feminine Football Club. Hold on, here's a cross in the middle that's cleared out by Peter, but it's not cleared entirely. Jenny took too long on the ball, lost possession, and Svava has to punch it clear. She boots it out of harm's way. Barca had Madrid. They beat Madrid 2-1. That's just the third game during this now 41-game competitive win streak that Barca haven't won by more than a goal. On the other side, Madrid had Levante, who they're still looking to play as well in the Copa de la Reina. There's been no date set for that yet. They're waiting to see what happens with the rest of their schedule. But Barca made some changes during the weekend. They had a lot of their B squad make an appearance, including the first appearance for the right back Esther Laborde. Now Marta, who's back in that spot, sends a beautiful ball forward for Caroline Graham-Hansen, who's now into the box as she cuts back onto her left towards the 6, sent across the way and cleared out frantically. Lucia was on the far side, and Barca have a corner.
Yeah, again, really good play. A long ball, which we didn't see much of last week. Great ball from Marta Torrecon onto Graham-Hansen, who made a really nice timed run. It's a good ball across from her. It's very dangerous, driven across the 6-yard box, and it was actually well cleared by Rocío. Corner for Barca.
Hoppy with that left foot instead takes it short, and it's chopped in by Pina, flicked forward, popped up and out of the area. Chased down by Jenny on the near side once again. Back from Mapi, who wants to curl in across. She'll do just that. It's a dangerous one, and it's found the back of the net. And Barca have scored a scorcher in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, it's a mistake, isn't it? It's a mistake from the goalkeeper. I'm sorry to dampen your celebrations. It's fantastic. Barca are 1-0 up, but you have to look at the goalkeeper here. It's a long, long way out. Mapi Leon is nearly on the byline here. She certainly isn't taking a shot. She's put in a very dangerous ball into the area, but look at the movements from Misa, her first movements. It's forward. She takes that step, and that's detrimental to her because the ball just floats over her head. Goes down as a mistake for me.
Well, that's coming from the keeper, and I think we would expect nothing less.
Well, I think she thought the cross was coming in towards Marta's head, right? Was where she thought it was going.
You can anticipate as a goalkeeper, and that's exactly what she did. She took that step forward, and then it's very, very difficult to make that backward movement. But in all fairness, fair play to Mapi. It was a really dangerous cross in, and she will have no problems claiming that goal.
Look, mistake or not, one of the most aesthetically pleasing goals we've seen all season. If you go back, and off the top of my head, I can't remember who it was against, but Lika Martins scored one from about a third of the pitch away. I think it was against Arsenal. But either way, this is going to go down, aesthetically at least, as one of the best goals of the season.
It was very enjoyable to watch. And it's just what Barca wanted. 7.5 minutes in, 1 goal up. It's all theirs now, isn't it?
They've got a free kick in a similar area. Mapi standing over it. It's sent in by Graham Hansen. The cross didn't quite reach its destination, but it's back with Barça, and Graham Hansen has it on the near side now, cutting in field. Now circling back towards the end line, chops it in towards Misa, who has to claim this one. She bobbled it as she jumped for it, but she did make the catch.
And Caroline Graham Hansen is really enjoying herself out there in the right wing, isn't she? Lovely ball in by her. It was actually one of Misa's own players, Real Madrid player, that jumped into her, but she did well to collect it and keep a hold of the ball. But really, Real Madrid are under so much pressure here. And what we're seeing is because Graham Hansen is playing so well, Olga Carmona is dropping all the way back. And she's one of the main threats for Real Madrid, and she's not a threat when she's defending. So that's down to Graham Hansen.
It's the first goal in the Champions League for Mapi León this season. She had a couple of assists. We talked about it last week, Emma. She is always involved in the build-up play. You wouldn't feel like it because she's a halfback. She tends to stay back. She's on the ball right now, bringing it forward. But somehow she always finds a way to get involved.
Well, she has to, because otherwise she'd have nothing to do, right? She'd be just sitting at the back. And that's the thing with Barça. The players push on. They're all extremely good with the ball at their feet. They all want to be involved in the build-up, and that's why she's at Barça, is because she's very good at building up play.
Here comes Barça again. Cross came in, it was cleared, and now Pina has it, and Pina has gone down right at the top of the box. She is fouled. Lucia will receive a card for her troubles, so we'll break out the old trusty highlighter. It'll be a free kick for Barça.
Just have a look at Pina's feet here. Lovely first touch. Very quick. She actually nutmegs Lucia Rodriguez. Really nice footwork from her. And such a clever player for such a young player. She's got a really, really good head on her shoulders and complete handful for any defender.
Free kick is set up about 5 yards or so from the 18-yard line. Positioned just to the left of the goal. This is, you would think, prime Graham Hansen territory. Alexia is over it as well. Her left foot might not be as conducive, but I would never count out her foot on any portion of the pitch. It will be Graham Hansen. She fires right into the wall. It comes right back to her. She hits the wall again. She's pelting Madrid players. Secondary rebound comes back out, and Barça maintain possession again.
Well, we can see Real Madrid just pushing up a little bit more now. Obviously, they've been asked by Albert Toril just to push up higher pressure, which worked for them last week, I think. And it just means it's going to open up more space for Barça. And I'm not sure it's going to work for them tonight, because this is a different Barça team than last week. Barça looked a little bit tired going into the game. They didn't look like they were firing like they normally do, and it's a completely different night for them tonight. I actually think Real Madrid would be better off just sitting back and trying to play counter-attack. And if they press high, I think they're going to get destroyed.
Well, they've gone down now 4-1 on aggregate. They knew that coming into this game, to stay in the tie, scoring first was obviously a must, but not conceding so early, that had to have been one of the things they were looking to avoid. And as you said, it was a mistake. And so from that mistake, I think the morale just naturally is going to take a little bit of a dip with the amount of fans you've got screaming at you tonight.
Yeah, it's really difficult to play against Barça, because especially if you're 3-1 down, because you should be going for the game. You should be going from minute one, high press, trying to put pressure on them, trying to play in their half. But if you do that against a team like Barça that are on form, you could be 3-0 down in the first 10 minutes.
Oh, hold on a second. Olga has put a cross in, and there is a claim of a handball, and that claim has been heard by the referee, Irene Paredes. has apparently mishandled the ball, and Madrid will have a penalty. Now they can look at this, but this is going to stand. Udine is already seeing a card, and I think the objective from the referee was to demonstrate the chicken wing.
Well,
getting a replay now. Thoughts?
So difficult, isn't it? I mean, she did have her arm out, and the rule is that if it's not naturally by your side, she did stop the ball. It wasn't in the frame of her body. So yeah, I suppose it is a penalty. I hate the rule. I hate these new rules for penalties, but it's a penalty.
All right. Harsh as it may be, Madrid have a penalty, and Sandra Paños is being asked to stop the shot. It comes in low and to the right, and it is put home. Madrid have tied the game up 15 minutes in. Alberto Torre's side have done exactly what they've needed to do in response.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's the first time we've seen Real Madrid in Barca's defensive half, to be quite honest. So, yeah, that will definitely give them a little boost. And again, it's Olga Carmona again scoring the goal. It wasn't an amazing penalty, but it went past Sandra Paños. That's it. It's 1-1. That will lift them a little bit, and it's game on.
It is Olga. She's got 3 goals in the Champions League now, including the goal that she scored last week in the first half against Barça. She's yet to score in La Liga Iberdrola, and she's now tied for the top goal scorer on this team in this competition.
Yeah, it's strange because she's been playing further back. She's kind of had a defensive role nearly with Real Madrid, which I don't really understand because she's extremely good attacking. So these last 2 games, I've seen her a little bit higher up the pitch, and it definitely works for her, and she's definitely going to be knocking on the manager's door asking to do that.
well, you could hear the fans when the goal was scored. They weren't happy with the decision. They weren't happy with the goal. But aren't we all secretly, don't we just like a little bit of drama?
Yeah, because it might have been a little bit too one-sided, right? So we needed Real Madrid to score just to lift it a little bit. And anger the Barca players a little bit to make them push even further. And you can see here the pressure's on already. They're pressing high up the pitch as they do. Patri Guijarro needs to be a little bit careful. We spoke about the ref already. She's very generous with her cards. Patri's already been in her face about the penalty. So she just needs to be a bit careful because you don't want to be getting silly cards in this game.
We are getting beautiful images now in the 18th minute of this game, where everybody has raised their solid color sheet of paper to take part in the mosaic that reads more than empowerment. They did it about 10 minutes before the game started, and not everybody had been able to get into the stadium yet. There were lines out the door and beyond the gate 2-3 hours leading up to this one. Now that the game has been underway for about 15 minutes or so, I think it's a little bit more full.
Well, these fans want to give their team a boost as well, having conceded the goal. Just give them that extra bit of motivation.
They're so loud, you can hear them singing, and sometimes when fans come to women's games, they're not as loud as they are in men's games. You don't hear the songs as much, but tonight they're really, really vocal, and it's a great environment.
It must be wonderful for these players as well that are used to playing in the Estadio Johan Cruyff with its capacity of 6,000 fans.
And they did that
at the Fortress.
Right, they did that in the game against Madrid just a couple of weeks ago that we were all at. 6,000, and that seems like small potatoes compared to where we are now.
And it was loud. I tell you, I was there pitch side. It was very loud at the Estadio Johan Cruyff when Barca took that league trophy.
Madrid are trying to get out of their own defensive half right now, and the only thing That's providing salvation as the referee is whistled. They've won a free kick.
Look at the amount of Barca players around that. I mean, there's 7 players around that ball there from Barca, and it's literally 10 yards away from the 18-yard box of Real Madrid. Like, that's how much they want to win it back. And that's exactly the Barca style. They're playing higher up the pitch, they're counter-pressing there, they're hunting the ball down, and Real Madrid are finding it really difficult to get out and to try and play out, which is what they're trying to do, and it's just really difficult. They can't do it. It's impossible for them.
There's a Barca player that's gone down, and it is Graham Hansen, after Olga undercut her with Graham Hansen trying to win the ball. A pair of number 7s going at it, and Graham Hansen landed hard on the way down. She's still yet to get to her feet.
Well, hopefully that'll be nothing more than just being a bit winded by the knock.
Olga Carmona was very clever there. Graham Hansen went up for the header, and Olga Carmona just leaned into her. And it's a foul. It's not a bookable offence, but it can be quite dangerous. And Graham Hansen really did land awkwardly right on her back.
You've got Oshuala, who they just showed again, next to Mariona Caldente, who's still going to miss about a month or so as well, alongside Oshuala. Lika Martins. It's an all-star team on the bench.
And in the stands,
I should say. Cross from Marta towards the back post. There's a tussling inside the 6. The referee isn't having any of it. Cleared out of trouble only as far as Patri. Mapi on the far side, gets it back in quickly. Jenny wants to turn, but she's surrounded by white kits, and she still manages to get away from trouble. Her pass to the far side for Rolfo, who runs it down right before it rolls out of play for a goal kick. Recycling back to Mapi. Barca need to just take a moment to breathe. Encouraging response after the 1-1.
Yeah, it seems to have settled down a little bit, to be honest. Just looking at how Real Madrid are trying to stop them, which is extremely difficult. They're playing 4 at the back, but what's happening is Jenny Hermoso and Pina keep dropping in. And it literally means that Real Madrid's back 4, they're not marking anyone, and Barca are completely overloading the midfield, which is allowing them to play in that area. Real Madrid need to decide if they're going to allow the defenders to go in with those false number 9, so to speak, and to try and put pressure on them, because at the moment Barca's midfield have just way too much time and way too much space to play and to dictate the game.
Well, it's been fought for in the midfield, and there's a Madrid player who's stayed down in the center circle, and Mapi thought about seeing it out of play, but now that player, which appears to be Athenea, has gotten to her feet. Again, these little ticky-tack fouls right around midfield. This time Pina is whistled, and Madrid will take it back. It was
a foul. I think it was a clever foul from Pina, just taking out Zornoza. But again, just not giving Real Madrid players any time whatsoever on the ball. You can see that that's a problem for Real Madrid. They're used to having a little bit more time, and they're not getting any tonight.
Well, the possession stats speak for themselves. Barcelona are holding 70% of the possession. And, well, they're just so quick to recover the ball as well, aren't they? As soon as Real Madrid get a hold of it.
And by their standards, that seems pretty low. 70%. I think we've had a couple of 80-85s throughout the course of this season.
Did I just see Xavi in the crowd there?
You saw Xavi and Carles Puyol next to each other. Carles actually spoke to the team earlier this week. He went into the locker room and provided some words of wisdom, with his main message being, enjoy this while you can, it goes by quick. Graham Hansen now sliding in towards that byline, chopping it up towards the back post. Her floater was over the head of Rolfo, who runs it down. And now we'll try from the other side. Rolfo, low ball in. It comes out. The chip shot flies over the bar. Not a bad effort from Alexia Putellas.
It was really nice play from Rolfo there. The ball did float over her head. She had to go and recover it. But she looked like she was going to pass it back and then just chop back herself. Took Lucia out of it, and a nice ball across. And Alexia will be a little bit disappointed with that. It's not often we see her not hit the target.
I think she was going for placement over power that time.
Both teams do sort of seem like they've settled into a bit of a rhythm now after that frantic first 15 minutes or so.
Now it is Marta who finds Aitana Bonmati. Mentioned most of the defenders become attacking players in this system as well. Marta and Rolfo on the wings. Graham Hansen can play on the wing as well. We know that's what she does. Alexia has it. Turns away from 4. Tried to feed Graham Hansen into the box, but only Svava was there for it, and she clears her lines. Barça have a throw.
Again, Barça are just finding their rhythm again. They're looking very, very comfortable on the ball. They're not moving it as quickly as they were in the first 10, 15 minutes, but they are keeping possession. It's just going to allow Real Madrid to come into the game a little bit if they can't keep that tempo high. So they just need to pick it up again a little bit.
Graham Hansen was played on side, and now her cross comes all the way through to the backside where Hermoso runs it down. There's space for Rolfo, but she ran right into Olga and got it right back. It's too much, though, for Jenny to track down. It is a goal kick.
That's an incredible scene right there. The pitch looks fantastic. I mean, just to play on the pitch alone like they did against Espanyol without people there, just to play on this fantastic pitch. But the fact is, packed out stadium, an absolute milestone for women's football.
We weren't sure about the rain. We thought maybe that would cause some problems, but it's appeared to have held up. Now Alexia, instead of shooting, she chops it back. Pina's low ball skims into the grateful arms of Misa Rodriguez. We won't get an official number on the attendance until halftime. There were at least 90,000 tickets sold. The world record for the most attended women's match in the history of football was the 1999 World Cup final between the United States and China, played at the Rose Bowl in Los Angeles. That was 90,185. And regardless of whether we get to that number tonight, it really doesn't matter. It's a fantastic atmosphere, and a loud one at that.
And it's club football. It's completely different. So the fact is that Barça as a club are basically setting the foundation for women's football, and every single club around the world should look at what Barça is doing, because it's working. And I've said it before many times, but this is just the showcase right here, and this proves the point that there's a massive support at this club for women's football, and they've invested in women's football, and it shows.
Oh, and hold on, because if they go quick, they've got numbers. Graham Hansen will take a rip, and it's over Misa's outstretched arms. There was no deflection. Instead, it will be a goal kick, but that was a dangerous chance for Barça, and I believe it was Alexia who delivered that peach of a pass.
Look how much space Graham Hansen has, though. Absolutely loads of space. Ivana, the centre-back for Real Madrid, doesn't even know where she is. She's no idea. And she has loads of time to try and pick her place out. She's claiming it's a save. I'm sure Misa would be happy to give away a corner for that and claim the save as well. But the referee said no, didn't get a touch on it.
Would you do that? Would you give up the corner so you could get the save?
Yeah, I would if people recognized it was an amazing save. Plus, I like corners, so
Because
I wanted something to do as well.
Right. You're confident enough that you're going to save the corner too. Might have gotten a fingertip to it. Got 172 passes is the number we have. Actually, 174 to Madrid's 64. It's Barca playing out of the back. Kept in play by Graham Hansen here on the near side, right next to Jonathan Giraldez, who's in the coach's box. Barca get a foul on Alexia.
It was really nice play from Barca there to get out, because Real Madrid had decided to press high. They have their trigger points, and when it triggers, they press high. And they decided to press high there. There was actually 5 players around Patrick Hijaro there, and they still managed to get out. And that's exactly what they do very well. If they can continue to play like that, passing fewer touches and moving the ball a bit quicker, that's how they're going to destroy Real Madrid, and that's how they were doing it in the first 10 minutes.
Well, they've won a free kick on the far side, just on the edge of their final third. Might be enough for Mapi or Graham Hansen to send a Hail Mary into the box. Hermoso won the foul. Ball has a long way to travel to get there. Madrid have set up their line along the back, and it is Mapi Leon who's standing over it. Several bodies to aim at. I try to readjust the angle here, get a little bit closer. Mapi, no, forget that. She'll just whip it right in, and it was met by Rolfo's head, and then she skies it over out for a goal kick.
It was a really good ball in from Mapi, actually. If she'd just put a little bit more on it, because there was a lot of space behind that back line of Real Madrid. It was a little bit short, but it was a good ball and dangerous. And if you want it to fall to anyone, you want it to fall to Rolfo. She's very, very good in the air.
We haven't had much of Madrid in their attacking third over the last 15 minutes since the goal. It was Mapi Leon who scored the first goal. It was a cross that turned into a shot that she will tell you was a shot from the get-go. And a penalty against Irene for a handball.
No, just the one attack by Real Madrid compared to Barca's 22. However, in terms of making them pay off, Real Madrid have converted 100% of their attacks.
Quality conversion rate.
Yeah, but it's certainly, you combine that with the 70% possession, and it's certainly the one side are taking charge here at the Camp Nou. Well, that's a sight, isn't it? That's great to see.
Yeah, I hope you can hear the fans right now. Let's just take a moment to listen into their screaming. Well, that's actually going to have to wait, because as per usual, Barca are coming forward again. And they're inside the box with Aitana Bonmati, who cuts it back onto her left foot. Her shot is blocked. Cleared out only as far as Patri, who tried to take it on the volley. Ricocheting back out to Rolfo. Aitana surrounded by 3. Misses out on possession. One back, though, by Barca. Graham Hansen did well.
Yeah, again, for me, just too many touches from Barca. Just slowing the game down a little bit. They're not making very good decisions either. So you just need to sharpen up on that a little bit. Better decisions, fewer touches again. Same as what they were doing. But because they've just slowed it down, and what happens is it just allows Real Madrid to get back behind the ball and get themselves organised.
They do try to send it into the middle. It ricochets around and finds Misa's hands. consistent, relentless high pressure from Barça, who are not letting Madrid in through at all into that attacking half. They've found an avenue, though, with Svava. She has essentially no forward outlets. Madrid can only work it around the outside. Athenea trying to go right at Pina, who also defends as well as scores goals.
It's interesting, just like you said, that Real Madrid are playing it outside. They were playing a lot through the middle last week, and I was a little bit surprised to see that, because not many teams do try to play around Barca's midfield, and they did, and it actually worked very, very well.
Why is that?
I don't think Barca's midfield were pressing high enough last week, and I think they were a little bit late getting to that press, so it just allowed the likes of Zornotha and Teresa to play and be comfortable playing. Whereas tonight, we can see a lot more pressure on them. As soon as the back line, whether it's Pedro or Ivana, looks up to play into the middle, Barca's midfields are on them, so they've no choice. They can't give it to them. That's why they have to play around. So I think that's a big difference from last week as well. Just Barca have better pressure in the central areas. Having said that, if Barca are putting pressure on the central areas, the only way is to go around. And Madrid aren't doing that well enough, because they can easily get Athenea on the ball or Olga on the ball, their two best players, and they're not doing that enough. But when they do, you can see little glimpses of decent play from Real Madrid.
Well, you only have to look how wide Irene and Mapi are as a back two, covering all that kind of ground at the back.
Perhaps a chance for Barça here. They've been able to push it forward now once again. Cross from Alexia into the box. Handled diligently by Madrid. And follow up from Marta will only be a goal kick. I just want to go back to that point that you made, Emma, because I think it's an interesting tactical adjustment that a lot of people might not notice when they watch this team or any team play. You're saying it's difficult to get into the middle because of that high pressure from the Barça midfield that aren't allowing any of those players any space on the ball. And essentially what you're saying is space on the ball in that area is of the utmost importance when you're trying to come forward, right?
It can be. I mean, if that's how you want to play, if you want to play through the middle, then yes, obviously you need to get space. But what Barca do very, very well is they get their players to actually nearly block the ball into the middle. If you can pass that block of Jenny, of Pina, and Alexia, if you can pass that, there is space behind them. So the likes of Wolfsburg and Arsenal, looking at this game, will be looking and saying, look at there, they're trying to press high, but there's space behind them. Real Madrid might not be good enough to get past that block. And they aren't comfortable putting the ball in there. It's obvious because they haven't done it. And they are trying to play out wide, but sometimes you have to play centrally to go wide. And it's like what Jamie said with Barca's two centre-backs, Paredes and Mapi. They're playing quite wide because they don't have a player in there to mark. They don't need to be in central because Esther is dropping in so deep. Nobody's running past her. So they're kind of making the game a little bit predictable for Barca at the moment. And last week it was completely unpredictable because they were playing through the centre.
It looks like Jenny went down.
Yeah, well, Jenny must have been. We didn't see a replay of the tackle.
No, it looked like there was kind of a collision of shins, but she's bleeding, so maybe there was some studs involved.
Yeah, there's definitely blood coming from that shin ankle area. And she has pulled the sock over the blood and played on because that's.
Yeah,
you're not going to come off in the first half at the Camp Nou, right?
She remained on the ground for a little while, and I did wonder if she was going to receive medical treatment, but in the end she sort of waved it off and jumped back to her feet.
I think her sock is actually ripped.
Yeah, right. I thought I wasn't sure if she had like a knee support.
Stud has completely ripped her sock.
Rolfo needs to get a cross in, cleared out of harm's way by Teresa.
Well, hopefully she's able to shake it off because Jenny's sort of speed running forward could be affected by that.
She looks fine. She's in there getting involved. I think she's going to be okay.
Barça have it again. Shot from distance from Pina, who always loves to shoot from outside the box. It was blocked down this time, and Madrid tried to play out quickly, but one of the links in their chain was broken. I know neither of you are baseball fans, because that's just not a sport that happens here, but there's a historic moment in a playoff game of a player, his name was Kurt Schilling, who played through an entire game with a leg injury, and it was called the bloody sock game. It's lived on in history, so that we might have our own version of the bloody sock game if Jenny Hermoso continues to have problems today.
Only you could come on Barça TV and talk about baseball.
I'm just telling you what I know.
What color was his sock? I'm interested.
Well, he
White.
played for the Boston Red Sox.
So his sock was already red.
But I believe it was mostly white.
It's white.
Yeah, we're not going to get that with Jenny today.
But these are the kind of things, and there are stories in almost every sport where people kind of overcome the odds, play through injuries, face up against adversity, and that's the story, the legend, the myth that you tell through the years, you know.
Right. I mean, you know, right now we don't know to the extent of Jenny's injury or lack thereof, but if she scores a goal in the second half, for all we know, in 20 years, it's going to be the greatest bloody sock goal of all time. But getting away from the point.
Back to football.
I think when you talk about legends in history, this game, they've led up to it and talked about it so many times this week. How many young girls are sitting in the stands right now thinking, well, my goodness, if these women are playing at the Camp Nou, who's to say that I can't?
Yeah, I mean, this is what I was talking about, Barça being the catalyst for women's football.
Hold that thought. Graham Hansen's going to get a cross in. Here it comes. It's deflected out for a corner. Oh, no, it's not. It stayed in play. I beg your pardon. Now it's gone out of play, and it's a goal kick. Graham Hansen touched it last.
Yeah, just talking about Barça as a club supporting their women's team, and this has been a process, and it's been a project for them for many years. And this is the result. And that's exactly what's happening. They're showing girls around the world, not just here in Catalonia, around the world, that it's a brilliant thing to be involved in women's football, and they're giving them their role models. And, you know, if you can get women's football in people's houses on their screens, then of course we're going to get more coverage for it. But not only that, it's shown boys and men and all those, and anybody who has had negative things to say about women's football, which there have been many, it kind of keeps them quiet a little bit, because you're talking about a packed Camp Nou stadium, something that we can always refer back to no matter what. And it's just been a fantastic thing that people do support women's football.
It's one of the biggest stadiums in Europe. And that, you know, that speaks volumes, doesn't it? The fact that they can come out here and do this in front of not just a packed stadium, but one of the biggest stadiums in Europe. That means so much. We are into an important few minutes now, as both teams will look to try and get ahead before half-time. Just saw Alberto Toril kind of signaling to push wide. No doubt Real Madrid now looking to spring something of a counter-attack when possible.
Barça have been setting up in the midfield now, trying to work their way forward, and with about 90 seconds to go of the first 45, we sit at 1-1. It was Mapi Leon in the, what do we call it, the 8th minute. And then 8 minutes later, penalty from Olga to make it 1-1. Quick restart after a foul from Barça. They've pushed it down here on the near side to the right of the goal. Aitana Bonmati has cut it back. She hasn't been as involved, I think, as she'd like to be in this first half. Barça working it around the perimeter. Mapi cutting inside. Mapi going down. Mapi winning the foul.
What a great run from Mapi there.
About 30 yards outside the box.
She's so powerful, and she's just, I mean, she's trying to get through 4 Real Madrid players, and of course Esther is trying to follow her back and trying to defend, and which is never a good thing because she doesn't really know how to tackle as a forward. And Mapi does really, really well to get the free kick.
So the angle on this free kick is tough to decipher what you want to do. It seems like it's too far central to be a shot, or to be a cross rather. Is it too far out for a shot? Graham Hansen, she's going to take the shot, and she got underneath it a little bit too much. We've got 1 added minute, so we've got about 50 seconds or so left in this first half.
Well, I'm not sure Alexia was too happy with Graham Hansen there because she'd made the run, and I think she was expecting to get it. She stepped over the ball and continued her run, and it was too far out for a shot. I think she was expecting Graham Hansen to put her in, but Graham Hansen thought otherwise.
Maybe one more chance for Barça to come forward. 20 seconds to do so. Mapi, that's a nice ball forward for Rolfo up the far side. She's going to go early with it. It's cut out by Peter, and that should do it for the half.
I think Real Madrid could be happy with that. In the last sort of 10 minutes or so, they've grabbed quite a bit more possession.
That is the halftime whistle. 1-1 the score. So it starts with Mapi León, and following that up, the penalty from Irene on the handball. The Olga cross was blocked down. She puts it home on the penalty, her 3rd in the Champions League this season. The score 1-1 at the moment, still 45 minutes to go with Barça and Real Madrid, which makes it 4-2 on aggregate. And I think from this first half, we've got plenty that we can break down, but we're going to do it for you on the other side. It's Barça and Madrid at the Camp Nou, 90,000 strong, right here on Barça TV. So, final thoughts from that first half.
Well, I thought Barca started really, really well. I was really impressed with how quickly they were moving the ball, to say that again. And they looked like they were really going to, you know, it could be 2-3-0 even before the 12th minute had gone. But then Real Madrid found their way back in. Barca dropped off a little bit. That goal, the penalty changed it again, changing the game, penalties, decisions. I do think Barca were the better team, though, and it's only a matter of time when they can open those floodgates.
Yeah, I think Real Madrid, like I said before, could be pretty happy with that. They certainly seemed to get a bit more into the game as the half went on, holding Barca to a 1-1 draw in the first 45. Good effort from the visitors, certainly considering where they are,
45 minutes down, 45 still to play. That's coming on the other side. It's Barça and Madrid at the Camp Nou.
Hello, Goolers. This is Camp Nou Kitchen, the place where 2 Barça players will swap their jersey for an apron to play a different match. Empezamos en 3, 2, 1.
¿Y si me quemo, qué pasa?
Cook off! Today on Camp Nou Kitchen, 2 talented players from the Dream Team.
¡Míralo, míralo! ¿Listo?
Pedri González en Eric García.
Te espero. Si hubiese tocado algo mucho más difícil, yo creo que hubiésemos quemado la cocina.
They will cook a dish selected by the best nutritionist in the club.
Vale, chavales, chicas, casi lo tenim. ¡Gol, gol, 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 gol!
¡Hola, gol de Eric!
¡La salsa de Eric!
But just one of them can take home the Camp Nou Kitchen Cup. Oye, pero yo esto es trampa.
No.
No, no es trampa, venga, también voy aquí.
Sí que és veritat que ha tingut una mica d'ajuda.
3, 2, 1...
Lo estaba haciendo todo mal.
¡Manos arriba!
Ya está, ya me han robado. picante.
El ganador de la Camp Nou Kitchen Cup es...
Eri.
Eri.
Pedri.
Debut en primera división versus primera titularidad con el primer equipo. Yo creo que me quedaría con la primera titularidad, porque al final era el día antes yo ya sabía que iba a salir titular y al final el jugar 10-15 minutos en tu debut, pues sí que estás nervioso, sí que hay esa tensión, pero la titularidad ya es como se vive mucho más y fue precioso. La verdad es que fue un partido increíble, fue el partido que volvió Ansu y marcó el gol y es de los partidos que mejor recuerdo, sin duda. Primer gol oficial en Pamplona, primer gol en el Camp Nou contra el Elche. No tengo ninguna duda, el primer gol en el Camp Nou contra el Elche y fue espectacular el celebrarlo ahí con nuestra afición, el resultado, ¿no? Que fue en los últimos minutos y yo creo que quizá es el momento más especial que he tenido esta temporada. Dorsal 28 versus dorsal 14. Pues aquí me quedo sin duda con el 14, primero porque al final es del primer equipo y ya es un salto muy importante para mí y luego también porque es un número muy especial y en este club y en el mundo del fútbol por todo lo que significa y es un dorsal que siempre me ha gustado mucho y de hecho he llevado bastante y pues me quedo con eso. ¿Ir al stage de pretemporada o el primer viaje oficial con el primer equipo? ¿Cuál fue el primer? Pues ya me acuerdo. Aquí me quedaría con el stage de pretemporada. Al final vienes nuevo, no conoces a tantos del primer equipo, empiezas a conocerlos y son momentos muy bonitos y que estás con una ilusión increíble.
Perfecto, Nico. Has funcionado solo.
Bueno, este es, como todos recordamos, pues, como he dicho, el momento personal más increíble que he vivido por todo, por el momento, por lo que significó y por todo lo que vino después. Un placer haber vivido ese momento en mi persona.
Good evening, welcome to the Champions League semi-final. Chelsea versus Football Club Barcelona.
El 6 de mayo de 2009 pues fue a nivel individual, a nivel personal, pues el momento o el punto más álgido que he vivido en mi carrera en mi club.
Placing forward to the edge of the area, Lampard tries to flick it in. There's an penalty and there's a goal. First shot on goal and SEN has made it Chelsea 1, Barça 0.
Aunque en momentos pues ellos fuesen superiores, sobre todo en su campo. Y bueno, si nosotros teníamos algo era eso, ¿no? Que confiábamos en nosotros mismos, en lo que fuese y pues bueno, cosas del destino pues nos puso en ese momento para dar ese paso. La jugada pues empezó en nuestro medio campo más o menos y bueno, cuando Xavi abrió a Dani pues ya pues un poco a la desesperada pues vas avanzando para llegar al área, vas avanzando para encontrarte con cualquier situación. Sien no despeja y cuando el balón le cae a Leo, yo estaba en la frontal y bueno, me cedió el balón y salió. Y le pegué con todo el alma, como dije, y salió perfecto, salió a la escuadra y bueno, a nivel personal pues el momento más fuerte que he vivido como jugador del Barça. La recuerdo como si fuese hoy.
Lo tenían casi fichado antes de la final contra el Arsenal, pero cuando ellos pierden, estoy hablando con Thierry en el césped y me dice, me voy a quedar un año más. Y era una sorpresa para mí.
It was very difficult to lose the Champions League final, as you know. It was impossible for me to go that way. Impossible.
El partit de l'Arsenal, l'espectacle. Es plantava un contraatac d'àrea a àrea en 5 segons. Era realment un espectacle.
Un jugador muy potente, fuerte, que tenía una definición espectacular con la derecha, con la izquierda.
Técnicamente buenísimo y uno de los mejores delanteros que ha habido.
Frank Rijkaard said to me, we still want you, but my front three is Ronaldinho, Eto'o and Messi.
Como entrenador no se puede nunca asegurar a jugadores un sitio en el campo.
I said, I understand. They won at Barcelona. I didn't win anything. That will be on me to show that I can play. And I went.
Cuando vas a un sitio nuevo, pues necesitas un periodo de adaptación. Y también, pues, 2007-2008 no fue una temporada nada fácil.
I wasn't happy with the season. Nobody was happy with the season.
La chispa no era la misma. Éramos en Barcelona, pero no el Barcelona de hacía 2 años, de 2 años atrás.
And I always remember, say my name, the old stadium booed. Shall I stay here? Typical Pep, he said to me, you have to turn the opinion of the couple. He said, that's not easy. That was a bit of the trigger for me because I like a challenge. But when he said that, I looked at him and I said, okay, I want to stay and then we will change that.
Sí, este fue partido especial, único, diferente de todos los demás. Y bueno, fue inicio de todo.
Saludos, señoras, señores. Bienvenidos al Camp Nou. La Liga vuelve al estadio del Fútbol Club Barcelona en un partido muy especial, un partido en la madrugada. Ha salido ya el Sevilla al terreno de juego más silbado que nunca.
Una noche especial, no mi primer partido, no el partido medianoche. Y bueno, partido hasta ahora, imposible que no iba a jugar bien.
Peligro Ronaldinho, el pase para Gerard, salió y atrapó Notario. No, ahí está Ronaldinho, vamos a ver si entra en juego el crack brasileño. Se marcha Ronaldinho, continúa Ronaldinho, vamos a ver ahí a Ronaldinho Gaucho. Atención a Ronaldinho Gaucho, buena la acción de Ronaldinho, que bien se ha ido, el centro de Ronaldinho. Se marcha Ronaldinho, le han robado el balón en última instancia, lástima.
We welcome you back to this edition of Barça Live as we get you ready for the second half of Barça and Real Madrid. It's the second leg of the quarterfinal of the Champions League. Winner goes to the semifinal, and the loser goes home. Spencer Siegel, Emma Byrne, Jamie Coles with us here. Emma, as we look back at that first half, a half that started with Barça on the front foot, getting several chances, making one of their half chances pay off. How do you expect them to come out now in half number 2?
Yeah, I think they're going to come out as they did in the first half. I think they'll come out and put lots of pressure on them. You know, possession football again, but higher up the pitch. I think they move the ball quicker, and you know they're going to want to score an early goal. So I think they're going to start the second half as they started the first.
Jamie, as we think about how Barca dominated the half and yet the score is 1-1, does that provide any hope for Madrid in the second half that their ultimate goal is to try and move on to the semi-final? Can they think that that's achievable right now?
Yeah, well, you said before, winner moves on, loser doesn't. It's not entirely true because Real Madrid, they need a good win to be able to move on. The score on aggregate is 4-2. I do think it looks a little bit hopeful for Real Madrid. I think in the final sort of 10 minutes or so of that first half, they looked a lot more comfortable on the pitch. They did start to take a bit of hold of possession, but they just don't look sharp enough on the counter-attack. Although, as Emma said, I think they may be looking for those gaps as Barca press higher. Barca's still fairly dominant in the first half, and I expect to see them coming out guns a-blazing in this second half.
This is the Champions League. You combine that with La Liga. And for these competitions, Barca have not been conceding much. That's just the 10th goal that Barca have allowed in these two leagues combined. As we start the second half with Barca and Madrid, it is Barca who will be heading right to left. Madrid going from the left side to right in their traditional Los Blancos kits. And it does not appear that there are any changes. Emma Byrne, Jamie Coles, what can we expect now, Emma, in this second half as we get going?
Well, I think Real Madrid, you know, it's half-time. They'll be happy enough with the 1-1, but they have to go for it. They have to come out and they have to try and score 3 goals. And, you know, that's really difficult. As you said, Barca don't concede easily. So from minute one, they have to attack. They have to keep possession. They give away the ball when they win it back. And they need to keep it and they need to play higher up the pitch.
Well, Sandra Paños has not been that involved today. I don't think she's had more than maybe 2 or 3 touches on the ball when it's been recycled back to her, as we have kicked off the second half.
Yeah, that's right. There was just the one attack by Real Madrid, which resulted in the penalty. So quite a successful attack. But Barcelona seem to be pushing forward far more frequently than the visitors.
So we'll run through the starting 11 for you again. For Barça, it's Sandra Paños along the back line with the fullbacks of Fridolina Rolfo and Marta Torrejon. As we've mentioned, they get a little bit further forward than the halfbacks, Irene Paredes and Mapi Leon. This is Graham Hansen coming forward. We'll have to just wait on it for a second because she's found the run out wide here on the near side of Alexia. Alexia with a cross in, comes nearly right back to her before Lucia sends it away. It's a midfield of Patrick Guijarro, Aitana Bonmatí, and Alexia with Graham Hansen, Claudia Pina on the wings, and Jenny Hermoso playing. You wouldn't call her a striker today. She hasn't really been playing much of a striker's role.
She never really does, to be honest. She's a false number 9, and I think she's a great example of a false 9. You can see her up there in the picture. She is playing higher up the pitch, but as soon as Barca retain possession, she'll drop in and look for that ball, and then she's looking for other players to run in behind her. And tonight we're seeing a lot of that from Graham Hansen, who we normally see really wide, but she's actually coming quite central tonight, and I think she's that player that's going to run in behind Jenny, who's dropping in midfield.
Madrid playing high line to start, and what certainly looked like a foul has angered Aitana, who's now on a dead sprint to try to win the ball back. For Madrid, as it gets pinged around in the midfield, it's Lucia on the back line with Mehmet Peter, and Ivana with Svava as the left back. Got essentially 2 defending midfielders with Teresa and Claudia Zornoza. Here's a shot from distance with Paños off her line. Oh my goodness, it's gone in. What a shot that was, Zornoza. who just made Mapi León strike the second most impressive goal on the night. It's 2-1 Madrid on the night. It's 4-3 Barça on aggregate. And it's a goal from 50 yards out.
It's a fantastic strike from Zornoza, and she knew exactly what she was doing. This was intended. She saw Paños off her line. Paños does play quite high. And she saw her off her line, and it's a fantastic strike. It's an absolutely brilliant goal, and you can't take anything away from her. But I'd just like to say, this is what I was talking about in the first half, that try to break the Barça midfield. If they can break that front press, there's a lot of space behind them, and that's exactly what we just seen. Teresa did really well to break past Barca's three in midfield, and that's what gave Zornoza the time and space.
Wow. So Barca's win streak currently in jeopardy, Jamie.
Yeah, well, have we seen Barca go behind twice in one match in any competition this season? I'm racking my brain.
Well, no. I mean, to be fair, they've just gone behind once now. It was 1-0 and
right.
they tied.
Sorry.
So we're still waiting on it. But I'll tell you what, this late in a match, the second half, they haven't been behind like this. I can't recall them trailing in the second half of any match other than, hold that thought just for a second, because here they come into the box. There's a trip right on the edge of the box. It was inside. No penalty has been given. Graham Hansen, who was the one who drew the penalty a week ago, might be subject to a VAR look here. She went down inside the box, no doubt about that. There's lots of contact. What do you think,
penalty. It's a penalty.
Well, it's not.
Ivana doesn't get the ball. She makes contact with Graham Hansen, and Graham Hansen goes to ground. It's a penalty.
Well, play has picked back up, so any possibility of looking at VAR, which from a neutral perspective, Caroline Graham Hansen being involved for the second week in a row would have raised a lot of eyebrows.
Yeah, I think she was already getting a few nasty comments on Twitter from what I recall. So if that happened again, I'm sure that would have doubled. But it's unusual that the ref didn't have a look at VAR, because it wasn't that clear cut. It wasn't 100%. And perhaps she should have gone and looked at it, because for me, it's contact in the box.
Well, Barca do qualify with this result for the semi-finals, but they're not going to be happy coming away from the Camp Nou without a win.
Cutting inside, whips it across. It took a deflection off of Peter and then was headed towards the goal, and Misa, who was on the ground, had to climb back up and grab it before it creeped over the line. Our video assistant referee today is Benoit Milot, and there was no indication to give the referee on the pitch a second look, so Barca will just have to try and do it the old-fashioned way, which is exactly what they've done. Barca score so quickly. Aitana Bonmati makes it 2-2 3 minutes later. What else could you expect?
Yeah, and it was a really lovely goal, and you know, they deserved it. They did. Barca they've been the better team, and it was a lovely worked goal here. Barca, they won the ball back in midfield. It was Patrick Harrow, really nice. Jenny Hermosa, lovely ball, great first touch from Aitana Bonmati, and of course that signature footwork from her just finds the back of the net, drives it low past Misa, and a typical goal from Bonmati.
So calm, collected, and she has put home her third goal in Champions League play this season. And that might be the release, if you feel the change in air pressure in the city, it's the release of 90,000 just saying, okay, we've got a 2-goal lead on aggregate again, let's not get too worried.
I'm happy for the fans. You know, we could have had like a 1-0 or something, but we've had 4 goals already, 52 minutes in, and they're just putting on an absolute show for these 90 whatever thousand fans at the Camp Nou.
We're still waiting. As soon as we have any indication on attendance, we'll bring it to you. Barça have committed the foul this time on Atenea, which will allow Madrid to recapture themselves as well. It's a free kick in Barça's half. The switch of play has nearly gone awry. Aitana has some newfound energy after scoring her goal. She's been instrumental both on and off the pitch. Aitana Bonmati. This was from a couple of weeks ago when she was awarded the Barça Players Award, which is given out to both a member of the men's and women's teams. Frankie de Jong on the other side won it for their fair play and respect for the Barça shirt. And it's an award that's been won in the past by so many great names. We talked about Carles Puyol. He's won this award. Of course, Lionel Messi, Alexia Putellas. So that means a lot to jump on an award like that. Xavi has won the award.
Well, there are players, aren't there, that are just emblematic of what it is to be beating Barca, and you know, you hear their names and the team that instantly comes to your mind is Barca, whether it's Xavi, Carles Puyol, Alexia, and I think Aitana is one of those.
What about Claudia Pina? Because she's come forward and she's had a strike and she's got a beautiful goal. 3-2. Let's listen to the crowd. So special. From the outskirts of the box with her left foot across the face of goal, past Misa, into the top right corner.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic strike from her. Great run. The ball wasn't intended for her, for Rolfo. She took a great touch, and it's just left foot curled right into the far top corner. Just what a goal. Like, I don't think she could have put that anywhere better. Just past Misa, nothing she could do about it, and another great goal.
It's just her second goal in Champions League play this season, as once again the mosaic has been thrown back out there with the more than empowerment.
Well, you can hear it,
message.
Can't you? The Camp Nou is fired up, the fans are fired up, and so Barca. Look at them go.
Goals in the 52nd minute and 56th minute, from 2-1 down to 3-2 up, and they lead 6-3 on aggregate, and they are like sharks in the water, hungry for more.
Crowd is just giving me goosebumps. You can hear them, they're so loud, and that's going to completely drive the players on. We spoke about the result here today and qualifying for the semis. That's not good enough for these guys. If they don't win this game and give a really nice performance for the people who've gone to Camp Nou tonight, they won't be happy. So that's exactly what they're doing, and they're doing it very, very well. I mean, it's just a showcase of goals at the moment. I think it's a wonderful show for the fans that are there in the stadium and everybody watching on TV.
Well, it's just so, to use your word, Jamie, it's emblematic of how we've gotten to this point, and you can tell based on the sentiments of the players that you've described, Emma, and what these players feel this game means, that it's more than just a game. And without getting all sentimental about it, because we're here to enjoy a game, but then you hear someone like Alexia say that today's the beginning of a new era. She wants to inspire people, right? She's not going to stop until she's given everything she can to the club. And Claudia Pina has provided two fantastic goals in this tie. Through ball in, comes all the way through for Sandra Paños to have a touch and settle things down as Madrid tried to come forward. But players like Jana Fernandez, who can't play today because she was hurt, posted a picture of, it seemed like she was maybe 9-10-year-old Jana Fernandez at the Camp Nou with a picture on the pitch or right on the outskirts taking the tour, saying, I can't believe we've gotten here.
Yeah, and you said it, it's not just about a game, it's about women's football worldwide. It's not just even here in Spain or in Europe, it's worldwide. People, they're setting records. It is a new era. And look at the crowd, they're there to support women's football. It's not a case of a men's game is happening after the game or before, like you see a lot as well. No, there's only one game on here tonight, and it's women's football, and 90,000+ people have gone to watch it and are singing their hearts out. I mean, we've seen great goals. It has actually been a really good game, which, you know, just adds to the excitement and the thrill and the showcase for women's football.
So Alexia was trying to do some work on the far side on the edge of the box, and as she tried to turn the corner, she fouled her marker. If you want any indication, if you just happen to be in the Barcelona area today and watching the English version of Barça TV, go ahead and get out on the interstate, on the freeway. Interstate's not a word, sorry. The freeway, I know, but...
On the Ronda.
On the... on AP7, on B23, those roads that lead right into the Camp Nou.
Well, it does look like both sides are going to be making some changes. Various players warming up for both teams. Bring out some fresh legs.
Madrid enjoying a little spell of possession, but without many inroads. Could probably use an interstate at this point. An hour down. Still work to do for Barça. This is an excellent stretch of passes for Madrid, but the last one lets them down, and Rolfo chases it down, sends it back to Paños, who boots it up back into the midfield area.
Well, I think the substitution from Real Madrid perspective it needs to be thought about very, very carefully, because they're just starting. They look like they're keeping possession. They look quite comfortable. They're enjoying a nice spell, and it's at this time last week that their manager Alberto Toril made changes, and it was for the worse, if you ask me. So he needs to be very careful about if he's going to put players on the pitch, if he's going to change the team, or is he going to stick with this team and just ask more of them.
We were 1-1 at halftime. 16 minutes later, we're 3-2. 6-3 on aggregate. And Madrid losing out on possession. And we're getting a look at Alberto Toril and Jonathan Giraldez right now. We talked a lot about the players leading up to this game, but what about the coaches? Because this is also one of the biggest atmospheres that they'll be standing on the touchline directing their players.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big showcase for them as well.
Hold on a second. It's a 3-on-2 for Barça. They've got another shot. Alexia right-footed across the way, and it trickles across the goal line and into the back of the net. And Barça's lead is 4-2, because the night wouldn't be complete without a goal from the Queen.
No, and it was just a matter of time, really. It was probably one of the worst goals I've seen her score, if I can say that, because we've seen so many amazing goals from her. But yeah, it was only a matter of time when she got herself on the score sheet. And she's just thanking the fans there, which is lovely. But she's got so much space there. Look at the space, but she does really well. She just makes a tiny little bit of space for herself on her right foot, striking across Misa. Wasn't the best strike. And again, I don't think the Real Madrid goalkeeper will be too happy with herself.
And Misa got a touch to it, and then it was Ivana who had to make a save off the line, and she could have done it if she had timed it upright, but it seemed like the timing of her savior attempt crossed her up a little bit. She sort of fell on top of the ball and helped it along. And Barça again are looking for more. A through ball in behind. A little too far for Aitana to track down. That's now 8 goals in the Champions League for Alexia, to go along with 17 in La Liga Iberdrola, which for the 17 would put her 2 back of the league lead there. She's scored 3 in this tie now of the 7 that Barça have.
Well, Barca now well and truly in control of this match, of this round of the Champions League.
Yeah, I think Jonathan Hernández will definitely try and make some changes to give everybody the experience. He's very, very good at that. He's very conscious of that. And I'm sure we'll see some changes soon.
Oppie clears away. A cross that comes in. I'm sorry that there's been so many goals and so much high-paced action that we're not able to finish our points. We were talking about Giraldez and Toril in this moment. That's a good point. We can touch on that. You see, you only get to put 11 on the pitch at the beginning of the game. So what's the best way to incorporate everybody and also manage the game?
Yeah, I actually think Giraldez has been quite lucky, and I know it sounds a bit strange, but lucky to have some injuries, because if Oshuala was fit, if Lique Martins was fit, if Mariano was fit, those 3 players in particular, he would have problems in picking his team, and he would have to upset people in doing that. And especially tonight, when everyone wants to play, those players that he would drop would not be happy at all. And actually, he doesn't have that problem at the moment. We want those players to get fit again and be ready for the semis, but that causes a problem for the manager.
Well, there are some changes being made on Real Madrid's side. Confirm those for you now.
Yeah, Esther González
Thank you, Spencer.
making her way out. Olga Carmona as well, and they're coming quick. They come fast.
A flurry of changes. So yeah, Esther González off, Naikari Garcia on, and Olga Carmona also is coming off. She's replaced by Caroline Moyer.
I think we didn't talk about this last week because she didn't start either. She's not started either of these Champions League ties, Caroline Muller. What's the decision behind that for somebody who's been able to be such a threat for Madrid?
I'm sure that the manager's thinking of defensive duties as well.
Rolfo with a cross. Alexia was ready to meet it on the volley. It's on the far side now, edge of the box with Graham Hansen. Sorry, Emma. It just keeps coming. Graham Hansen thinking about putting a cross in, twirls around, finds Aitana near that end line. Out for a Barca throw.
Yeah, so you have to think about who you're playing against, and even though Muller is a good player, Olga Carmona is very, very quick, and they wanted to play counter-attacking football against Barca because it can work. So he put his quickest players out wide and hoping to get that break and then try and find the quick players over the top. And I imagine Olga Carmona is quicker than Muller, and it's as simple as that.
Well, Muller has scored on a number of occasions in the Champions League this season leading up to today. And now Barca are away again, and they've got a chance for 5. The cross comes in. Jenny tried to slot it home, and it was blocked down at the last second. The only thing denying her from a goal on the night. Blaugrana becoming increasingly dangerous with every attack. It seems like they're destined to hit the net again.
I think they will, being quite honest, because this is actually when they do turn the screw in the last 20 minutes, and it's when the opposition basically becomes extremely tired from chasing the ball all game, especially if they make changes and they have new blood on the pitch that are desperate to make an impact.
Well, here they come again. Here comes the cross, chested down. And one back again by Barça. Another cross in. Looking for Jenny. It didn't quite reach her. It came out to Alexia, who finds Pina, whose strike is ripped across goal and just wide of the near post. Not been shy tonight. Claudia Pina, who scored the go-ahead goal last week, has scored the go-ahead goal again this week.
She's a great player. What a prospect for Barça. You know, she went on loan. She went out to Seville. She did really, really well. It just shows really good management from Barça. And she came back a much stronger, better player with that experience. And it's another problem, though. You have to keep her happy. She's still so young. For me, she's been a bench player coming on. It was really nice to see her start. But when those players come back, she might be the one to suffer. And how do you keep all these players happy? Because I know for a fact clubs are very interested in Claudia Pina. And for the simple fact is she's excellent and she might not get her game. So they're sniffing around her already, and it's just, you know, it's something that has to be managed.
Well, you can watch her play and understand exactly what she can do, especially from a distance. Hold on, Rolfo has turned the corner. She'll send across the way, and it's poked home. Barça make it 5. It's Caroline Graham-Hansen. It's 8-3 on aggregate, and it is a beautiful night at the Camp Nou.
Well, I don't think anyone guessed the scoreline because I think there's more to come, and it's I mean 5-2 in Champions League is a massive scoreline, but it's all down to Rolfo here. She does really well. She takes on 2 players. She gets right down to the end line. Really good ball across. Aitana Bonmati nearly gets there. Actually, it comes off Aitana and falls really nicely to Graham-Hansen, just sitting at the back post, and probably one of the easiest goals she's going to score. You can see what it means to her. You can see exactly what it means to her. absolutely buzzing.
Her first in the Champions League this year. Substitutions.
Well, a couple of substitutions. Patry is coming off. She's going to make way for Ingrid Engen. Chornogorcevic is also coming on. She's going to replace Marta. Great performances by both those players tonight. I think, like you say, Emma, just Joanna Ferralde wanting to give as many players as you can a bit of a run out in this amazing atmosphere. It looks like Jenny's coming off as well.
Yeah, I saw
She's
Layla.
replaced by Layla.
Yeah. So that will probably push Rolfo up further. Not that she's been playing back in this game, but Layla will drop back a little bit and fill that left back position. And indeed, Rolfo is now playing more as a winger.
Yeah, that's a bit of a defensive move, no, Emma, by...
No, I don't think it's a defensive move. I just think he's given players minutes, and well, Layla will push on forward, but what it does allow Rolfo to do is to go central, which she's very, very effective. So now she'll probably play nearly as a 2 with Pina and Rolfo up there. And then, of course, you've got Graham-Hansen pushed very high on the right side. So, yeah, it's still attacking. There is no defensive moves. There is no defensive moves.
You could put in 11 halfbacks on this team.
What is a halfback? I don't know what a halfback is.
I hear that term all the time. Am I wrong? It's a center back.
Oh, centre back, right. Just different terminology in Ireland. I thought halfback was like in American football.
Well, yeah, that too.
Okay.
But we're not playing American football.
But I think in soccer as well, they call it a halfback.
Really?
I think in
Different
European,
terminology in Ireland,
we call
right.
it centre back.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'll go with center back, and I'll
Because
say
then the fullback we use fullback.
Yes.
right. You use fullback.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, so halfback's not a thing. See, we learned something.
No,
new
no, no.
every
I'm
day.
not saying
It's
that
not.
it's not. I'm saying I just didn't know what it was. But it's a centre back.
You could put in 11 of those on this team, and they'd still score 6 goals.
Well, look who opened the score sheet for Barca today. Mapi Leon.
Mapi,
One of our
Aitana,
halfbacks.
Pina, Alexia, Graham Hansen.
Yeah, and we thought Mappy's goal was amazing, or very good anyway. But I mean, Zornota's goal, and that was pretty impressive.
I'm going to say it again. I'm happy for the fans that are there. 7 goals out there in the Camp Nou. We're going to see some more changes. Savannah's coming off. She's going to be replaced by Robles. Double change for Real Madrid. Peter's also coming off to be replaced by Rocio Emma.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about Rocio at the start of the game. I was surprised she didn't start. I thought when Ivana came on for Rocio last week, I thought that's when they had problems at the back. So for me, it was a little bit surprising. I know Ivana is a Spain international, so I know she's a good player, and I've seen her play and she's decent. But I just thought Rocio did really, really well and added stability to that back line.
As far as Barça substitutions are concerned, they've got 2 of them left. You can't, as we said, make everybody happy. So aside from the keepers who are on the bench, your remaining options are Melanie, who you'd think has to get in to this game, right? You got to put her in at some point. Andrea Pereira, and then the 3 normally Barça B players this year, Maria Perez, Ona Bardad, and Esther Laborde. If seniority wins out, then it would be Melanie and Pereira, and probably for the 2 center backs, Mapi and Irene.
Or the 2 halfbacks. I quite like halfbacks now. I might start using it. I mean, yeah, you'd expect Melanie to get on. She's been at the club herself and Marta Torrecon since the beginning. I played against the 2 of them in Champions League. That's how long ago
Literally, she's been here since 2003.
Yeah.
You've got to get her in this game.
Yeah, yeah.
Game is stalled from a perspective standpoint. Barca haven't had a chance in about 5 minutes. That's saying something. Well, this game and this tie might be all done and dusted. You still got work to do in this competition, but after getting through the group stage, though, it's sort of easy to forget. There's only 2 phases left. It's the semi-final and then the final in Turin, should they get there.
Yeah, I mean, they changed the format. There's actually more games in the Champions League than there was. So we get to enjoy watching Champions League a little bit more because of the qualifiers, so to speak. But yeah, it's always been that way. Quarterfinals, you have the teams that sometimes, I'm going to say that you beat 5-0, and then you come to the quarterfinals, and that's when you really have to, focus and pull up your socks, so to speak.
To the semis.
The quarters and the semis,
right.
Yeah. And then, of course, the semis are massive.
Shot coming in from distance, and it's over the bar. Layla wanted to get hers. Came out from quite a ways.
Yeah, so I think Barca will be quite happy to avoid the likes of Lyon and PSG in how it's turned out. But as we were talking at half-time, and I've been watching a lot of Arsenal lately, and they're very, very impressive. They've improved a lot since the time they played Barça in the league, not the league, the group stages. And they've improved a lot. They're a different team. So, you know, it all depends on who wins tomorrow night against Wolfsburg. But if Arsenal do beat Wolfsburg, I hope Barca doesn't, you know, take it for granted that they've beaten them already, because it's not the same team.
I was surprised to see Wolfsburg and Arsenal tie 1-1, because I thought that was going to be an easy win for Wolfsburg, despite that being the away fixture, for the reasons that you've sort of outlined. And clearly Arsenal have sort of taken that step forward. Well, you got it right, Spence. It looks like that that Melanie and Pereira are warming up to come on.
Madrid have worked their way into the box, but they haven't been able to make much of it. Paños will take a deflected ball her way and cover up. Melanie getting ready. She's the only one with the fourth official at the moment. This is a wonderful run by Leila, and better defending by Ivana. See, maybe we get that substitution now. Give her 10 minutes of run. Indeed, that's what's going to happen. It's got to be either Irene or Mapi. Irene is on a card. And now there are two players standing near the fourth official. I might guess this is going to be a double switch, which I think two halfbacks make a fullback. No? Okay. Barça into the box again. And a shot from Pina just wide of the bar. She's claiming deflection. She wants the corner. She won't get it. And now the substitutions, I believe, are going to take place.
Yeah, no, there was no deflection there.
Melanie and Pereira.
Well, Irene comes off. She's replaced by Pereira.
And it's Pina who's coming off.
And it's Pina that's coming off as well. Place of Melanie
There's your
Serrano.
defensive move. Taking off an
Melanie's
attacker.
going to play up front. Is she coming on as a striker?
Hey, you know what? In this atmosphere, in this game, as Barca this time have won a corner, why not?
She's actually playing higher up the pitch, which, you know, how Barca play. She is probably considered a striker. That would be something to write home about if she came on and scored a goal in the last 6-7 minutes.
Third Barca corner of the game. Sent in over the head of Rolfo, flicked on by Crna Gorčević. I believe it was. This was Alexia.
No, I think you're right. I think it was Crna Gorčević.
Yep, she got her head to it and just misdirected it. Well, you said you hope that Barca don't take for granted whoever they end up playing in the next round, but knowing this team, that's just not in their vocabulary.
No, and considering it's going to be at Camp Nou again, it's impossible for them, really. They have to put on a showpiece again. And the only way to go is up now, and they have to keep that momentum. And, you know, once you have the support of the crowd, that's what you have to build on, and that's going to be difficult considering the amount at the stadium tonight.
Cross from Afanea was met by the head of Naikari. Paños, though, was able to cover it up, and Alberto Torrio I think he'll be proud of his team the way they've competed in this tie. You're never going to be happy when you lose by 5 goals on aggregate or whatever it ends up being in the end, but they've scored 3 times.
Listen, there's absolutely nothing they could have done. I mean, they played their hearts out in the first leg last week, and it is the best I have seen them playing since they got started, since 2019, I think that was when they first became Real Madrid.
Right. Well, this is their second full season in the transition under the name prior to CD Tacón.
So that they're still such a new club, and last week I thought they were fantastic. They did really, really well. To ask your team to perform like that again, which is probably a little bit higher than what they can, is very difficult. 2 weeks in a row, and especially in this surrounding, in this environment.
Layla sends in a cross. It's headed clear.
But I think you're right, Spence. I think he will be proud of them, and he should be proud of them, because Barca are on a completely different level to pretty much 80% of the teams they play. So I think it's been a good performance from Real Madrid.
It's a level they can aspire to get to. Barca have it deep in their attacking third now. Bonmatí sends it out wide. Sent in to the path of Crnogorcevic, who crosses in, looking for Melanie, playing as that up front striker. Judging by your reaction, you thought maybe a penalty was in order. Athenea, though, has come forward on the counterattack, and Madrid have a 3-on-2. It's sent across the way. Here's the shot that comes in high and wide over Paños, and a missed opportunity.
Well, it was nearly a carbon copy of the goal from Olga Carmona last week. We're seeing, first of all, the cross from Crnogorcevic and Melanie looking for the penalty, but it's the exact same play that we saw last week from Real Madrid when Olga Carmona put the ball past Paños, dragged it across her, and Muller should be hitting the target there to make Paños work.
Well, another change made by Real Madrid. It was Abellerov, I think.
Yeah, Teresa came off, I saw.
Teresa came off, right?
And
I was seeing reports of attendance, and I was trying to find an official figure, and I didn't catch the...
Teresa came off,
and Claudia Florentino.
Claudia came on, yeah.
I'm seeing 91,000 bandied around a lot, but I'm yet to find an official source. But it certainly seems like the 60,000 attendance record of women's club football has been somewhat eclipsed.
Right, we have different milestones that can and will be reached tonight. And Barça, speaking of milestones, might have a sixth goal here as Alexia clips it in. It comes across all the way through. Graham Hansen, and her cross found Aitana right in the middle.
That was
she just
very
scuffed
close.
it.
Yeah, very quick transition from Barca. Lovely pull back from Graham Hansen. She basically put it on a plate for Bonmatí. It was nearly too easy for Bonmatí, wasn't it? She had too much time to pick her play. She needs to react. She's much better off the reaction than she is to take her time and place the ball.
As far as the club attendance record goes, because that's two different things. You've got the attendance record for any women's football match, club, country, what have you. You mentioned that's the one that was at the Rose Bowl in LA. But then you have the club record, which was set 2 years ago at the Wanda with Barça playing Atlético de Madrid. And that broke a 99-year-old record set at Goodison Park in 1920, as Barca will have a corner. Dick Kerr ladies and St. Helens ladies at Goodison Park. 53.
You're looking at me like as if I wasn't there.
53,000. No, I would hope not. Maybe our ancestors at some point. 53,000 strong showed up to play that game.
Well, I can give you the official attendance, let's see if I can get it in before they take this penalty. 91,553 fans at the Camp Nou enjoying this match, which that'll do it. That'll be a new record by a fair old way.
Congratulations to the club, both clubs really. It's a world record. Barça and Madrid, they have set tonight, and I believe they're announcing it right now, and the fans are applauding. Let's take a listen.
There you go. 91,553. Listen to those fans.
Quick math. 91,553. I can't do this one in my head. Sorry.
I'm wondering what you're trying to calculate here.
They beat the record by 1,368 people. And there's Joan Laporta that they're showing, who has certainly got a lot to do with this.
Absolutely. As have two others that are in attendance, Xavi and Carlos Pujol, who have been very complimentary, very insistent that fans need to go out and watch this match and support the women's team as much as they do as the men's. And,
and it's going to make it really difficult to break this record. I don't think it's going to happen in later this month, or I should say next month. It's almost April when this venue is again the site of a Champions League game, when the women host either Arsenal or Wolfsburg. It's a free kick for Madrid. It's worked well, but the ensuing cross comes into Paños. They just don't have enough time to build it up again the way they did this one.
Well, you never know. They're here tonight. They know that the game is going to be on next month in the same venue, so maybe that's all they need.
And Barça nearly grabbing a sixth with Rolfo, as we are now 5 seconds from the 90.
Should have passed it. You can see Graham Hansen running in and far post completely free. And if I were Graham Hansen, I'd be telling Rolfo that right now.
I'm loving this atmosphere. I'm loving these fans singing "C'est la Barça es el mejor que ya."
Just 2 minutes of added time. Maybe time for one more goal. A spin from Alexia. She's gone down at the top of the box, and she's actually going to get carded for it. Carded for simulation. You can't do that to her.
Well, there's no need, though, really, is there? There's just no need. It's the end of the game.
Alexia wants the referee to take a look, so we'll do that. Oh, there's plenty of contact.
I mean, she doesn't do that. She's not the type of player to dive, and you know, there is contact. It's obvious. Wow. Whatever about not giving the penalty, but the yellow card again.
Yeah, that's harsh.
Brave in front of all these fans to be brandishing a yellow card. At Alexia, no less, in the dying moments of this match. 2 minutes extra time. We are about 90 seconds into that already.
Brave is the word. I think Barça will remember that one. Maybe one more chance. Madrid still have plenty to play for in the Liga Iberdrola. They've got one game in hand. They're 2 points back of the final Champions League place. The top three make it. Only the top team will get a straight automatic berth into the group stage. The other two have to qualify. But this is a night for Barça. Just seconds from the final whistle. There it is. It ends 5-2 on the night and 8-3 on aggregate. Barça get the victory at home. They do it in front of a world record crowd, and none of them will go home disappointed. Just a wonderful scene on a wonderful night. Final thoughts, Emma.
Absolutely fantastic night for women's football all around the world, and I think both teams did us very proud, and some wonderful goals, great play, mainly from Barça. And I think the display in general for women's football was a fantastic, successful night.
Jamie?
Absolutely. I'm happy for the 91,553 fans. They've got to see a 7-goal match. What a show. What a spectacle.
Well, that does it for us. A 5-2 Barça win. Congratulations to the champs. And that is really why we set out for something like this. What a brilliant day. Spencer Siegel, Emma Byrne, and Jamie Coles, happy to have you along today. Thanks for joining us on this day. It's just a fantastic way to wrap things up, and they did it, and they had to do it by coming back a couple of times.
Yeah, no, I think it just showed the character of the team. I mean, we were kind of in shock that they'd gone 2-1 down. It's unusual for us to be commentating on a Barça Femení game, and that happens. But they showed their, their experience and their determination, and they did it with class. They were completely on top of the game, and then they had moments, and Real Madrid exploited those moments really well. But then it was just a case of superiority, winning, and that's exactly what Barça did.
And they got out to an early start. They had the 1-0 lead, Barça did, but 8 minutes later, and Madrid came back. And they didn't come forward a lot in this game, Madrid, but when they did, it did feel like one fortunate bounce going their way and they would be in. And when they got the goal, the first one, that was their fortunate bounce. It hit the arm of Irene, and it ended up as a penalty that Olga put home.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't have the stats, but I think it was 3 shots on Sandra Paños's goal, and one was a penalty. And then, of course, Ornoza's amazing wonder goal, fantastic goal. And then you had Moller at the end who shot it, well, it was over the bar, so it wasn't even on target. And that was literally it. That was the depth of their attacking. And, it showed, whereas Barça dominated the game and should have probably scored more.
Well, for Barça today, Jamie, it's about the game, of course, but it was also about the fans, and I think that's where we come in terms of the perspective, is that we approach this game as fans as well. How does this game affect where this team goes from here as both a club and a team, which is 2 different things for us?
Yeah, well, I think this has been something that's been a while coming, right? This team have been really marking their place in FC Barcelona. It's an iconic club. It's a huge club, arguably the biggest club in the world. And the women's team wanted to take that role as well. They wanted to take that on, and I think they've proven it today at the Camp Nou in front of 91,553 fans. I always say it's an absolute pleasure and an honor to be working here on Barça TV Plus in Barça Studios, but today I'd have loved to have been in the Camp Nou for that, because we just know the atmosphere that a full Camp Nou can put on, and to give those players and the women's team that reception, at the biggest stadium in Europe and breaking a record that way. I think there are probably very few words that our players could use to describe the experience.
Well, we'd love to hear some of those words, and I'm sure they'll be telling everybody how they feel about the game afterwards, and we'll be able to find those out later. But let's take a look at some stats from this one to see exactly how it went down. You can see for Barça that possession really didn't swing their way as much as it normally does in a game like this, but they certainly had the shots, 25 of them to Madrid's 4. Barça had more shots on target than Madrid had shots. 4 corner kicks for Barça and none for Madrid. They were moving the ball well, passing it well, and the couple of yellows. The second yellow card was the one that I think we can all forget. But the possession numbers there, Emma, they don't pan out the same way that we're used to seeing.
No, and at halftime it was far higher for Barça with possession, and I think it was just the last 20 minutes there when Real Madrid just started kind of coming back into the game a little bit. They weren't really progressing up the pitch, but they were keeping the ball a little bit better. But I mean, if you look at the game as a whole, Barca completely dominated. They might have had 15 minutes in the first half where they didn't dominate as much, but they were still, well on top of the game and very much in control.
All right, so for Barça and this game, we knew that there would be a lot of players playing well. We knew that 11, if not 17 players would hit the pitch, and we'd probably have a couple of goals to choose from. So as we begin to think about our player of the match, which I know we've all done our thinking now, we have to pick and choose between which players have deserved that top spot. Jamie, when you see this game, there's so many players to choose from. I won't ask you to pick them just yet, but in general, Barça as a whole tonight, you're pleased with what you saw, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you highlighted, you and Emma, then the possession wasn't as high as we normally expect from this side, but we're still talking like 60%. They still had a strong hold over the match. There were players that perhaps normally stand out a little bit more and shine a little bit more than tonight, but I think tonight was more about a collective effort. And you can't knock the result by any means. So yeah, no, I think it was a really nice showing by the squad, and well, to pick a player of the match, a tough choice.
We're gonna make you do that in just a second. But we also have to commend this world record that we saw today, 91,000. You're gonna have to ingrain this number in your brain, 91,553, and that's one of the images. I'd love to just have my news feed flooded with images of fans having fun, a packed stadium tonight. That's a heck of a number.
It's fantastic, and you have to commend the club. The players themselves have done fantastic. They've worked extremely hard over the last 3 or 4 years. I've spoken about playing them before in the Champions League, and they physically couldn't compete. They always had the technical ability, but when it came to Champions League, they just couldn't compete against the bigger teams. They've worked extremely hard on that. They've trained on that. Now they've got everything. They've got power, pace, skill, technique, and the club have supported them to do that. The club have really, really pushed them. And it's about wearing the crest, and it just shows respect. Anybody who wears the crest gets treated like a Barca player.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with Emma. I think the other victory of tonight is that not only in front of 91,553 fans, is that what a show, what a performance. Barcelona, we've seen everything, haven't we? We've seen goals from way out, goals from up close, goals from penalties. Barca went down, we've had drama, and then 7 goals scored in total, 5-2 victory. That's a huge victory for the women's game.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And so it is that time because there was a game. There were 5 Barça goals. There was plenty of defense, but you can only pick one player of the match. Well, actually, you can pick 3. You have to have your 3, 2, and 1. And Emma, we're going to start with you. Who are your players of the match tonight?
Well, my player of the match is going to go to Mappy, Maria Leon, because I just think she scored the goal. That's not the reason, but she was just fantastic all round. She was winning balls. Whenever that Real Madrid were going to break, she always stopped that break. And then I went with Graham Hansen because she's always extremely effective, and she was tonight. She was a real handful, and she was extremely dangerous and created a lot of chances. And then, of course, Alexia has to be on there because she's fantastic and she drives the team, and she definitely is that link between the defence and the forwards, and I think she showed that tonight again.
I think it's going to be a close one when we tally up these votes. Jamie?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I really struggled to decide. I was kind of thinking along similar lines, actually. But I ended up going for Graham Hansen as my player of the match. She was setting up a lot of danger from the wings. She was working her way inside, and she got a goal to boot as well. Mappy Leon, for the same reasons as you, Emma. I thought she did really well. And then I went with Rolfo as my final vote because, I think she just brought a lot of danger. She was strong in the air as ever, strong down the wings. And I think she helped Barca maintain that kind of consistent threat.
Well, we have so much fun on here, but I'm a little disappointed because nobody seemed to go with Claudia Pina for her incredible game go-ahead strike. It was 2-2 at the time. She, for me, it's Alexia because she dominated the game in different ways. She didn't just dominate it on the pitch. She was in everybody's head, including the referee's head tonight. And Claudia Pina, for me, is number 2. And Mappy for her goal that, from the beginning, Emma was telling us that it wasn't intended. And I think we know that, but we can pretend for a little bit that it was a wonder goal. Alexia, though, my player of the match for me, which means we need to tally them up and see exactly where we landed. Yeah, Mappy is our player of the match. She grabbed 6 points, and I think she's the only one who got a vote from all 3 of us as well. So that's all fair and just.
Well deserved.
All's well that ends well. Let's take a look at what's going on with the rest of the quarterfinal of the Champions League, because this is the first of 4 second leg ties going on. So you have Barça, who have completed their shellacking of Real Madrid, and then you've got 3 other games on the slate. PSG Bayern are set to kick off in about 15 minutes. It's PSG with a 2-1 lead, and they're at home for that second leg. The big one that, from a Barca perspective, we need to look out for is Wolfsburg and Arsenal, because the winner of that one, being played in Germany tonight, will take on Barca in the semifinals of the Champions League, with the first leg being played on April the 23rd or 24th, with the first leg being at the Camp Nou. And then Lyon and Juve will round it out. But we look at that Wolfsburg-Arsenal matchup, Emma, and what catches your eye, and what are Barca looking for when they watch this second leg tonight?
Well, Wolfsburg haven't really changed, really. They're still that very direct team. They're strong, they're powerful, they're dangerous in the air, really dangerous in set pieces. That's one of the things you have to look out for. But with Arsenal, they for me would be more dangerous for Barca, because they also like to play, and they're very good at breaking the lines and finding those pockets of space, particularly with the signing of Blackstenius, who makes really, really clever runs, who works really, really well with Viv Miedema. And of course, you've got Katie McCabe, who's excellent on the wing, and they're finding their form. Kim Little is playing fantastic football at the moment as well. So, for Barca fans, they'd nearly prefer to play Wolfsburg, I'm sure. So they're kind of hoping Wolfsburg will win tomorrow night, yeah.
Well, the semifinals coming up shortly, and we'll be sure to bring it to you on Barca TV and Barca TV Plus, of course. But that's going to do it for us tonight. Sadly, we have to say goodbye, but To the two of you, Jamie Coles and Emma Byrne, I say thank you for being a part of this historic night. 91,553. Did I get it right? I didn't look down. Okay. Thank you both. That'll do it for us. We're going to sign off, and we'll see you next time. Barça, the big winners tonight, and the Culés as well. Adios.